Back at the diner, the atmosphere was funereal. Vera and Jolene spoke in hushed tones, treating the topic of the show like a recent bereavement. Mickey, the director, had taken up residence in one of the booths, nursing a single cup of coffee for hours, the picture of theatrical despair. It was into this tableau of gloom that a small, wiry man with a loud tie and an even louder voice bounced. "Hi, Pally," he said to Mickey. "Jimmy Prescott's the name. I'm a bookie by trade, but if you happen to need a tenor for your show..." He cleared his throat and launched into a surprisingly robust, if slightly off-key rendition of Swanee. Mickey stared at him blankly. That was very pleasant, but the show closed in rehearsals. "Oh, tough break, Pally," Jimmy said, undeterred. "Well, keep me in mind for your next show." He sauntered over to the counter where Mel was counting receipts. "Hey, Melzy, I got great news for you." Mel looked up, his expression guarded. Good news from a bookie was often a prelude to very, very bad news. "I don't know how you picked those two horses, Melzy, but you did it. You won the exacta, $2,038. Mel froze, his eyes widened. He looked at Jimmy, then at the waitresses, then back at Jimmy as if expecting the punchline, "2,000, I won. I won. The exacta." A slow, incredulous grin spread across his face. It was a rare and wondrous sight, like a solar eclipse. "I won the exacta," he roared, slamming his hand on the counter. The girls, momentarily forgetting their sorrow, rushed over. "Congratulations, Mel." As Mel basked in the glow of his victory, a tiny, improbable idea began to form in Mickey's mind. He looked at the jubilant Mel, then at the grieving waitresses. An idea so audacious, so utterly insane that it just might work. "Is there anything we can do?" Jolene was asking Alice, who had just walked in, drawn by the commotion. Mickey saw his opening. "Yeah," he said, his voice casual, but charged with purpose. "Find me someone with $2,000 to invest in a musical." All eyes turned to Mel. The diner fell silent. You could hear the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sizzle of the grill. Mel's triumphant grin faltered. Mel Alice whispered the name, a question mark. "Oh, you don't know Mel," Jolene said, shaking her head. "He wouldn't part with a penny. Forget what you heard about a fool and his money. Mel stapled his money to his fool." But Mickey was persistent. "What other choice have we got? Mel's our only hope." Mel was already planning his victory tour. "I'm not going to blow it by doing something foolish. I'll grab a flight to Vegas and hit the crap tables." Mr. Sharple's Mickey interjected, his voice smooth as butter. "If I were you, I'd put my money into something a little more solid. A big investment." "Big? Like what?" Mickey took a deep breath. "Like a big hit musical." He began to sing softly at first, then with more gusto the opening number from the show. "I happen to like New York. I happen to think you're nuts." Mel shot back, "I happen to like my cash." The girls saw the glimmer of a chance. They descended on Mel, a chorus of persuasion. "Mel, please," Alice begged. "This is my big chance." "She'll be miserable if that show doesn't open," Vera wailed. "And if she's miserable," Jolene added, leaning in close, "you know Vera and I are going to be miserable for her. Then you'll have 3 miserable waitresses working for you." Mel paused. He looked at their 3 pleading faces. The prospect of 3 miserable waitresses was a powerful deterrent. It was bad for business. He thought of the money warm and crinkly in his pocket. He thought of Vegas. Then he looked at Alice, her eyes shining with unshed tears. He grumbled. He sighed. He ran a hand over his bald head. All right, he barked. "1 musical, but if I lose my shirt, you're all working for free until 1990. A cheer erupted. Alice threw her arms around Mel's neck, a gesture so shocking it nearly sent him into cardiac arrest. He was a producer. Mel Sharples, the cantankerous owner of a Greasy Spoon diner, was now a bona fide Broadway angel, or at least a Phoenix back alley cherub. The next day, rehearsals resumed at the Little Palace Theater. The mood was electric. The news of their resurrection had spread, and the cast was buzzing with a renewed, almost manic energy. Mel arrived looking deeply uncomfortable and took a seat in the front row. "I'll sit right here," he announced. "You won't even know I'm around." Alice exchanged a nervous glance with Mickey. "Mel is not a producer," she whispered fiercely. "He has no credits, he has no experience, he has no taste." "But he'll learn," Mickey whispered back unconvincingly. "He's got to start someplace." Why here? Alice hissed. Don't they have theater in Guam? Be a trooper, Mickey urged. Go over there and welcome him aboard. Sighing, Alice walked over to Mel. Hi, Mel, welcome aboard. Mel beamed. Hey, how about this, Alice? I'm your boss in the daytime and I'm your boss at night. Wow, she said, her voice dripping with irony. How lucky can a girl get? The rehearsal for the Autumn in New York number began. The dancers, clad in stylish trench coats, moved gracefully across the stage. Autumn in New York. Why does it seem so inviting, the chorus sang? Hold it, Mel yelled from the audience. The music screeched to a halt. Every head turned towards him. Everything is just great, he said, standing up. I just have a teeny suggestion. He pointed at the dancers. I think that the girls should remove their coats. Mickey's face twitched. Why, Mel? So we can see more flesh. Mel, you're missing the point, Mickey explained, his patience already fraying. It's autumn in New York. It's chilly. The wind is whistling. Yes, well, this year, New York is going to have a hot spell, Mel declared, with the unassailable logic of a man who held the purse strings. Remove the coats, girls. Reluctantly, the dancers shed their coats, revealing the costumes underneath. Okay, pick up where we left off, Mickey said, rubbing his temples. The music started again. The girls began to stroll across the stage. Hold it, hold it, hold it, Mel shouted again. The music stopped. A collective sigh went through the cast. Just another teeny suggestion, Mel said. He directed the three male dancers. You three fellas in the back there, move a little bit to your left. Yeah, a little bit more. More. Keep going. More. Perfect. He had moved them completely off stage. Mel, it's supposed to be Central Park, Mickey said through gritted teeth. The girls can't stroll there alone. They'll get mugged. Oh, we can't have that, Mel said, concerned. Girls, come up here. Come up in front. Yes, just line up here. There now, you're safe. He had arranged them in a straight line at the front of the stage, like a chorus line in a cheap burlesque show. Alice, who was supposed to be the focal point of the number, was now completely obscured. Now the audience won't be able to see me, she pointed out. What a great idea, Alice Mel exclaimed. Now listen, girls, when you do your strolling, put a little bit more wiggle into the hips. He demonstrated with a move that was less strolling in the park and more trying to dislodge a hornet from his pants. The rehearsal was a disaster. It was a masterclass in how to systematically dismantle a piece of musical theater. By the time Mel called a break, all right, I'll take Chrissy and Katie and you and you and you, and led 5 of the dancers off for coffee, Mickey looked like he was ready to commit justifiable homicide. As if things weren't bad enough, Mickey then delivered another blow. Listen, I didn't want to upset you before, he said to Alice, but your leading man can't make it for the opening weekend. He got a part in a movie. He's canceling at the last minute, Alice cried, the universe seemingly conspiring against her. Would you pass up the chance to be brutally murdered by Charles Bronson? Mickey countered. First, Mel, now this. The show was cursed. I get all the luck, don't I? Alice lamented. First, Mel, for a producer, and now I got no leading man. Don't worry, Mickey said, a strange twinkle in his eye. I got a terrific replacement. A friend of mine is in town for a celebrity tennis tournament. A tennis player for a leading man, Alice said, horrified. Great. I hope he sings better than Bjorn Borg. Well, Mickey said with a dramatic pause. I'll let you decide that for yourself. Listen, everybody, I'd like you to meet Joel Grey. And there he was, standing in the wings of the dusty Little Palace Theater, a genuine Oscar and Tony winning star. He was smaller in person, but he radiated a quiet charisma that instantly filled the space. Alice stared speechless. Her jaw was on the floor. Vera and Jolene, who had just arrived, looked like they were about to faint. Joel, this is your leading lady, Alice Hyatt, Mickey said. Joel Grey smiled, a kind, professional smile. Pleased to meet you, Miss Hyatt. He looked at her, stunned expression. You're disappointed. Alice finally found her voice. Oh, I'm all goosebumps. I'm thrilled. This was it. The Stardust. It had finally arrived right here in Phoenix. The show wasn't just saved, it was elevated. It was blessed. Then Mel returned from his coffee break, Jimmy the bookie in tow. Alice, I've got a big surprise for you, Mel announced proudly. Your leading man is going to be Jimmy Prescott, ta-da. The silence that followed was thick with disbelief and secondhand embarrassment. Mel looked from the stunned cast to the world-famous star standing on his stage. "All right," Mel said, frowning. "I give up. Who is it?" "Hi, Mel. I'm Joel Grey." "Yeah, so the situation was explained to him. Joel Grey, famous, Oscar, Tony, offering to be in the show for free. Mel was unimpressed. And Jimmy is offering all of his services for nothing, Mel argued, and Jimmy has that golden voice. I don't even know if Joey Brown here can sing,